dressed in their summer clothes. I have to turn my head until my darkness goes. I see a line of cars and they are painted black. Flowers and my love hope never to come back. I see people turn their heads as quickly and look away. Oh baby, it just happens every day. I look inside myself and see my heart is black. I see my red door eyes typing into black. Baby, then I'll fade away and I never face the facts. Not easy facing up when your whole world is black. Hey everybody, it's Justice for Comics. It is Tuesday. I'm going to be reviewing the top 10 list by CovrPrice. They produce this list usually I get it every Monday. So I got it yesterday. I just didn't have time to do a live stream yesterday, so figured I'd jump on here this afternoon and do one real quick. So many of my subscribers will probably catch it on the replay. This isn't exactly the optimal time to do a live stream at 4 p.m. in the afternoon, but that's kind of what worked for me. So I figured I'd just jump on real quick. If anybody joins in the chat, that's great. If not, no worries. So I'm going to review the top 20 list. Or I'm sorry, it's top 10. It used to be 20, but since there's no new comic books coming out, they've trimmed it down to a top 10 list. And it's basically it's kind of the same old suspects that have been kind of on people's recent hot lists, or whatnot. It just so week ending April 17th, which was last Friday. Let me share the screen here and I'll jump into the list. Let's take a look here. There's also some comic book news that I'll review as well. All right, there we go. So let's go all the way down to number 10. Oh, take it back. They do have a top 20 list. I thought they were trimming it down to 10 only every week, but it looks like they created a top 20 list here. So we'll review that. Let me blow that up a little bit more so you can see. So number 20 on the list is Star Wars #1 from 1977. Obviously a pivotal issue for the Star Wars fans. You get kind of two fan bases there, right? You got people that like to collect comic books, will collect Star Wars, and then you also have the Star Wars collector that may not necessarily collect comic books, but will collect Star Wars comic books. So long term, that tends to help a lot of these early books from the 70s, the Star Wars books. It's hard to find them in high grade, and no doubt about it. And 9.8 Star Wars #1 is definitely not plentiful. But one just sold for $1,080, so I think that's been. I think that has traded over $1,000 before. So it kind of goes up and then dips down. But again, it's definitely a sensitive comic book to find in great condition. I have issue number 2 in decent grade. I'd say it's probably high mid grade. Again, some of those early issues of Star Wars were really tough to find in high grade. The other one obviously is the Boba Fett, the first appearance of Boba Fett issue. I'm going to guess it's issue 42 of Star Wars. 42? I think I'm right. That's a white cover. That's really hard to find in high grade as well. So, yeah. So if you've been holding on to those Star Wars books, keep holding on to them. I'm pretty sure they'll keep making movies as long as there's cinema. I'm pretty sure they'll keep making Star Wars movies. Number 19 on the list is Moon Knight #1 from 1980. This is his first solo series. It's been a book that's been on a lot of hot lists over the last year or two. Speculation on Moon Knight, whether he's going to be in a TV show. I don't think a movie. I don't think he's going to show up in a movie. I just don't think he will for a while. In fact, I don't think you'll see anything about Moon Knight until sometime end of next year. So there's some news about Venom as well. I'll go over here in a few minutes. We'll jump over to a couple news sites to highlight that. Breaking news that just happened to come out today. Number 18 on the list is Werewolf by Night 32, obviously Moon Knight's first appearance. Now, this book has always been pretty hot. It's always been fairly expensive. The last 3 or 4 years, though, it's kind of gotten insane. 9.2 just sold for $1,952, up 125%. Year, I think you'll see Moon Knight and some of these books dip down in price. So if you've been thinking about buying a Werewolf by Night 32, I think you're better off waiting. I think near the end of the year, when people realize that there's not going to be any Moon Knight development this year, there's no way that's going to happen. It may not even be next year. I think the price will start to drop, especially, people have been laid off. A lot of times they'll hold on to the last second, and then you'll see 2-3 months from now, as the layoffs intensify, you'll see some of these books come up for sale. So I would hold, if you're looking to purchase a Werewolf by Night 32 in high grade, especially. I would wait several months, probably 3 or 4 months, before I would even start looking to purchase one. That's just my opinion on that. Number 17 is X-Men Annual 14, the first appearance of Gambit. A lot of people know about this book. Not everybody. I mean, the casual comic book buyer that walks into a comic book shop would not know that this is a significant book. If they saw it in a back issue bin, they'd probably pass over it. Only people who are familiar with comic books know about this. So, you can still sometimes find deals on this issue, but it's getting harder and harder. More and more collectors are clued into the fact that this is really the first appearance of Gambit. Not considered first full appearance, but I think 266 is always going to be a little bit more in demand, higher priced, all that kind of stuff. But a 9.8 just sold for $110. 7-day trend up 109%. So that book is doing fairly well. Number 16 on the list is Amazing Spider-Man 361. First full appearance of Carnage. Not first appearance, first full appearance on the cover. 9.8 just sold for $384. Now I'm going to talk about this book here in a few minutes, so I'm going to circle back to this, so stay tuned. Number 15 is DC's 52, number 12. First appearance of New Isis, who becomes the wife of Black Adam. Rumors of her appearing in a DC live-action Black Adam film. I would be shocked if that movie comes out this year. Still, it's an affordable book, $14.70 for a raw high copy, up 216%. So sounds like that was about CovrPrice book just a few weeks ago, and it's starting to move up into that $10 to $15 range. Be patient on that one as well. I think you'll see that one come back down. There's not going to be any Black Adam film anytime this year. No way. I can almost guarantee you that. Number 14 is Punisher =1 newsstand edition from 1987. Just one of those fairly affordable keys, right? $130 for a 9.8. You can find a lot of raw copies, though, for sale in pretty high grade for pretty reasonable amounts. Number 13 is Ultimate Fallout #4. Obviously, first appearance of Miles Morales. Key book for sure. 9.8 just sold for $435. This book has been pretty high for a while now. Spider-Verse 2 is coming out next year. Probably March or April of next year is what, if I had to guess. So there's still some time on that. Obviously, there's going to be a trailer coming out at some point that will probably get this book moving again, but I don't see it falling too much in price. I see it kind of just going level, maybe flatlining for a while. Number 12 is Savage She-Hulk #1 from 1980. She's confirmed to appear in a Disney Plus series, but when that's coming out, I don't know that anyone knows. The book does continue to sell pretty well, especially in high grade. 9/8s are selling just under $400. I do have a copy of that issue, but definitely in a kind of a lower grade copy. But yeah, definitely a good one to find if you can get a good deal on one. Number 11 is Venom #3. First appearance of Null. Well, I guess first full appearance of Null. I guess you could argue that he really appeared back in Thor: God of Thunder #6. As a little spooge of symbiote, I guess. But this book is on the move, which is good. I'm happy that it is. I have lots of copies. I think regular A covers I have probably at least seven A covers. I've got 2 of the 1 in 25 variants. I have second printing. I got a couple copies of the second print. I think I have 4 copies of the San Diego Comic-Con variant. So I'm loaded up on Venom #3. I bought them all for cover price. Well, obviously the 1 in 25 variants I didn't buy for cover price, but I got them for ratio, which was good. So I loaded up on those. I knew that character could be a big character. Remember back then when Venom 3 came out, Donny Cates was not really well known. He had done God Country. He had just finished his Thanos run, which got a little bit of attention, but a lot of people didn't really know who Donny Cates was when Venom 3 came out. Now, obviously, he's part of the Marvel writers lineup, so most people are familiar with him now. But back then, when Venom 3 came out, I just remember seeing just copies and copies of this book sitting on the shelf. I mean, I bought 7. Hell, I could have bought 20 if I wanted to. I probably should have. No one was buying them. It was crazy. At least at the shops here in Florida that I went to, it was not hard to get a Venom 3. If you wanted one, it was pretty much available for cover price, at least for 3 or 4 months. I didn't see that book moving, right away at all. So, yeah, I mean, I'm glad to see the price moving up on that. But we're going to go over Venom 2 again. There's some news that just dropped today that could affect these books. I'll go over that in a second. Number 10 is Nightwing #70. Still selling between $10 and $15. This is the first part of the Joker War series. The print rate on that's pretty low. I think a lot of people were caught off guard. There were a lot of people speculating that there would be a Punchline appearance. That didn't happen. So price on that book will probably cool off if it hasn't already. Number 9 on the list is X-O-Man War #1. Yeah, this book's moving. Movie rumors. I don't think it really matters. Sony did not do a great job with Bloodshot. So I don't know. A lot of these Valiant books, there's speculation. Harbinger might be developed into a movie. X-O-Man War might be a movie. John Cena is interested. I guess he's been texting or tweeting pictures. I don't know. Maybe he owns a bunch of the comic books and he's trying to pump up the book so he can sell it on eBay. I don't know. 9/8 just sold for $203. But, that's been a book that's been not $15 to $20 book for a long time. And all you Valiant fans are getting a little bit of a hard-on right now for any news that comes out. But we'll see. We'll see what happens long-term on that. Bloodshot did not do very well in the movie theaters, by the way. Just totally bad timing. That movie was released basically in the midst of the virus. So, of course, nobody went to see it. I watched it. It was mediocre. It wasn't very good. So Number 8, Uncanny X-Men 266. I just mentioned this before. First full appearance of Gambit. He's on the cover. This is the book that's always going to be in more demand than the other one. 9/8 just sold for $359. So I have a nice high-grade copy of that book in raw condition. I'm glad to see it on the list. Number 7 is Spider-Man Unlimited number 1. Yeah, everything to do with Carnage and Venom. So I'll go over that in a little bit. Number 6, Year of the Villain, Hell Arisen number 3. First full appearance of Punchline. This is the key book to have, not Batman 89. I came out a long time ago and said that way before this book even hit the shelves. I told everybody to buy Year of the Villain, Hell Arisen number 3. That was the key book to get. 9/8 just sold for $130, so that's doing pretty well. Number 5 is Batman 89, first cameo appearance of Punchline. 9/8 just sold for $160. Hell Arisen number 3. Right now, Batman 89 is going for $30 more. I think that's a mistake. I would much rather own Year of the Villain, number 3. Number 4 is Amazing Spider-Man 365. First appearance of Spider-Man 2099. There's a 5-page preview at the back of the book. This is the book everyone wants versus the Spider-Man 2099 number 1. 9/8 just sold for $120. This was a book that, a year or so ago, you probably could have picked up for cover price or $10 at the most. I grabbed my copy for $10. It's in high grade. Yeah, I mean, it's likely that you'll see him appear in the Spider-Verse 2 movie. How much that moves this book going forward, it should give a little bit of a boost to it, but feels like most of the profits already kind of priced into that book, I think. Number 3 is Wolverine number 1 from 1988. A little bit more affordable than Hulk 181. His first ongoing series, black cover. It's pretty easy to find on eBay. There's always a lot of listings, and that book's been $20 to $30 forever. I mean, maybe if you want super high grade, you might have to pay $40 to $50, but a 9/8 just sold for $173. So, that might be a good book to try to flip if you can find a nice raw copy on eBay and see if you can get a grade of 9/8 for it. There's a pretty nice profit there. I think you can probably find that book in high grade around $40 to $50. And if you could sell it for $170, $160, there's a good profit on that type of transaction. Number 2 is Spawn number 1 from 1992. Everything Spawn seems to be doing fairly well this year. It is one of the highest print run books of all time. I think that and X-Men number 1. So I don't know. I mean, long term, I have a hard time believing that this book's going to be, selling for super high values. But I don't know. 9/8 just sold for $125. That seems still kind of low. Number 1 is Spider-Man 2099. Again, Amazing Spider-Man 365 is more of the book that you would want to own. This is not the first appearance of Spider-Man 2099. 9/8 just sold, it looks like around $80 recently. So still pretty affordable. I mean, it's one of those things where it feels like most of the profit has been built into that book already. A lot of people are kind of aware of him showing up in the Spider-Verse 2 movie, especially at the end of the first one. They had his emblem. There's a lot of hints towards it. So hence the book's kind of, I think it's priced that in already, in my opinion. But there's your list, guys. Here's your top 20 list. So I think I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What do I have? 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I got 11 of the top 20. So more than half, which is not bad in my collection currently. All right. Let me just check the news here. I'll go over that in a second here. See who's in the chat. I haven't checked that yet. First one out of the gate is Chosen One Lando. Welcome, my friend. Glad to have you join us. Infamous 415. Hey, Infamous, what's going on? Yeah, it is top 20, but yeah, it's just all like older books. Obviously, there's no new books to talk about, so it's kind of a rehash of old speculation. We got MVS. What's going on, my friend? Malcolm Giles, welcome. Pages, Films, and Plastics. I like the name of that. Cool. Welcome. And we got the Comic Don. Welcome, Don. And we got Logan Torres. Welcome, my friend. All right, so one of the things that hit the news today looks like was Venom 2 release is being pushed back. So this was going to be released this October originally, October 2nd. It's being pushed all the way back to June of 2021, June 25th. So, yeah, pretty amazing. They do have the title of it, Venom, Let There Be Carnage. Sounds reasonable. It's all going to be about Carnage and Venom. Obviously, the battle, I believe they're going to bring in Tom Hardy. I'm not Tom Hardy. Tom, what's his name? The guy that plays Spider-Man. Not Tom Hardy. Whatever the hell his name is. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure they're going to bring him into the movie. There may be another villain that enters the fray. Maybe you'll get a glimpse of Null. I will imagine there'll be a kind of a prequel, viewing of Null from the past. I think they are going to highlight him. But yeah, I don't think it'll be an extensive appearance of Null. I think you'll just see like a little teaser of him, which will probably drive that Venom #3 book crazy. That I would look for that for sure. But what's going to happen though right now is a lot of people that have been expecting this movie to come out this year are going to be sort of like let down. You're going to see some people dump their copies of ASM 361. I would imagine there would be a little dip here in some of the Venom books. ASM 300, ASM 361. You could see a little pullback in price just because people don't, yeah, it's still coming out, but it's being pushed back quite a bit. October of this year to June of next year. Hell, that's a whole nother year away, more than a year away. We're not even in the month of June yet in 2020. So another full year of waiting for that movie to come out. That cannot be good for the comic books. So a lot of people that have been speculating heavy on Carnage and Venom, probably not too happy with this news right now. I would imagine in the short term it will affect some pricing. I got to imagine it will. Yeah, it was Tom Holland. Thank you, Logan. I couldn't remember his last name. Tom Holland. Holland and Hardy. Pretty sure he'll show up, though, in the Venom 2 movie. I'm pretty certain he will. But that's probably the big news that came out today is the release dates being pushed back. I think there was something else that I saw here. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Twitter cancels Adam Driver with hashtag Adam Driver is over party. So yeah, you got the SJW cancel culture. So any little thing somebody says, which he didn't even say anything bad. All he basically said was he told his story that after 9/11, he felt motivated to join the Army. He joined the Marines. He was deployed. I don't really think he saw much action. Actually, was he even deployed? I think I remember seeing him do an interview of that, and I think he just went to basic training. I don't even think he was deployed into any action, but obviously, all he said was, you can see the quote right there, right from the interview. He found himself filled with a desire for retribution, although he wasn't sure against what or whom. And he said he went even to cover himself. He says, "I wasn't against Muslims." Driver said, "It was we were attacked. I want to fight for my country against whoever that is." And so who was it? Well, it was ISIS. It was Osama bin Laden, right, and his followers. Yeah, there was a real enemy, and they were Islamic, radical Islamic. Muslim. Fear? No, absolutely not. No one said that. And the fact that you got these weirdos on Twitter who any little thing that's outside their box, they want to this cancel culture is ridiculous. So I'm glad that nothing's really happening on this. A lot of people like Adam Driver. He's kind of a normal guy. And again, this just shows the failure of the radical left, the fascists. When I was young, Democrats and the people on the left, I always thought they were for freedom. They were for, giving everyone a chance at opportunity. Anymore, they're just about silencing anyone who disagrees with them. So that's pure fascism. And if you're on the left and you disagree with me, I hate to tell you, you're wrong. It's fascism, and that's just the way it is. I mean, if you're a comedian today and you say something politically incorrect or off color, give me a break. I mean, it's comedic opinion. You should be able to say whatever the hell you want. Yeah, you can't scream fire in a crowded theater, right? I mean, I'm not saying in what is hate speech. I'm not saying you don't want to incite people to hate. No one is saying that, but especially in comedy today, it's all these comedians. They're like afraid to say anything. It's just so ridiculous. So this is just another example of the cancel culture trying to dig its heels into somebody and ruin their career. It's not going to work. A lot of people like Adam Driver, he's an excellent actor. He continues to get work. He's a fantastic actor. I see him continuing to do well, and he's not an Islamophobe. He just isn't. He's never given any reason for people to think that to begin with. So, I just thought that was worth mentioning. And again, all the people on Twitter, I think that Ricky Gervais had the best saying for it. He goes, "The person on Twitter is somebody in a trash bin. What do you care what they say?" So if you want to just harass them and give them a hard time, do it. But for the most part, you should just ignore them. And I think that's the way to, if you're going to be on social media, you're probably going to have to grow some thick skin, especially if you have any type of celebrity status at all. You're going to have to probably withstand some idiots. There's always going to be plenty of them. Looks like Stephen King's got a new anthology coming out. An excerpt from The Life of Chuck by Stephen King was released online to celebrate the release of the novella collection, If It Bleeds. I like Stephen King. I like almost everything he does, so that might be worth checking out. A lot of Stephen King stuff gets made into comic books, by the way. A lot of it, most of it actually. So who knows? That could be something that gets developed eventually. What else? If you're a fan of Fraggle Rock, It's going to be on Apple TV. I remember watching that as a kid. Even then, I think I remember thinking, this is very strange. I couldn't get into it. But I know that was a popular show back in the, what was that, mid to early 80s probably? Yeah, this isn't a surprise. Video game industry sees massive money boost from COVID-19 quarantines. Yeah, no doubt about it. $1.6 billion spent across all hardware and software during the pandemic. Wow. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. So, not surprising. My son and I play video games, and no doubt about it, our screen time over the last couple months has increased dramatically. And when you're a lot of people that play games, they buy things through the gaming companies. They buy stuff through Microsoft, through Nintendo, upgrades. There's all kinds of things that you can buy within a game that creates revenue for these companies. So I'm not surprised you're seeing that. Yeah, I think you're going to see it several more months. But here they're saying is a 36% increase. That's amazing. So the video game companies, EA Sports is one. I think Activision Blizzard is the other one. Those are the two major software gaming companies. And then, of course, Microsoft through Xbox and Sony through the PlayStation. I'm sure they're doing well. Nintendo's probably doing fairly well during this time, as well. So, it's interesting. Not a big surprise. I would expect them to do well. Definitely looking forward to The Boys season 2. I think that's coming out. I don't know if they've given a release date on that. I thought it was supposed to be May. Yeah, I was hoping the article would give you a date. I think they've already shot. They've already shot the movie, the TV show. I mean, the new season. So I don't think there's nothing that should delay it. Should be in the editing room right now. Yeah, they don't give a date to it. I love that season 1 though of The Boys. I thought it was great. It takes a little liberty with the comic book, but so if you're a hardcore comic book fan of The Boys, you may not think the TV show's all that great. But I never read the comic book, so my introduction to it was through the TV series, and I've enjoyed it. I thought it was excellent. It was very entertaining, especially if you're into people behaving badly. I think it's very close to what would really happen if you had human beings on the planet that actually had powers, especially if they had somebody that was created in a lab. Yeah, that would be. I couldn't see that going well. So that's what I find interesting about the TV show. I don't know. See, it seems like it's what would really happen. Okay. Recognize a couple more people. Gabriel, welcome to the chat, my friend. Glad you could join us. So I'm just kind of reviewing some stuff in the comic book news, the realm of comic book news. Yeah, Jim Lee's still doing his charity drawings, so there's another Aquaman. There's his Aquaman sketch. I don't think that one will go for 10 grand, but I know his Batman Who Laughs was really, really nice. There's another one. Who is that? Is that Huntress? I think that's Huntress. They got a pretty cool looking, what is that, the Red Death? Batman and Flash combined. Yeah, okay, that was it. But I know Jim Lee's been doing a pretty good job on those sketches. They've been selling for decent money. They are on eBay. It says right here that Jim Lee sketch is sitting at a bid of $9,600. Wow. it's a little overpriced. But hey, it's for a good cause, right? 38% of the proceeds are going to go to help comic book shops. So, unfortunately, not 100%, but about 38%. All right. Anything else here to talk about? I wasn't planning on doing a real long stream. Oh yeah, Donny Cates is pitching a new project. This is going to be independent. I don't know if he's going to do this through Image. I know he's done some independent stuff in the past. God Country comes to mind when he did that with Image. He did that with Zafino. I know Zafino did the covers. I can't remember who did the interior artwork on that. But sort of I don't know if it's a relating story to God That's the God Country. God was basically an old senile man that picked up a huge ass sword, and all of a sudden he could remember things, and he had unbelievable power. It says here, Marvel Venom's writer Donny Cates has teased a new comic book project by revealing a piece of artwork by his longtime collaborator, Dylan Burnett. Cates wrote on Twitter, "It's late and I don't care, so here's a teaser of a new thing Dylan Burnett and friends and I are working on." He followed the tweet with a peek at Burnett's art, which features a massive sword. Maybe he's compensating for... What is that? I think it was in Shrek. Perhaps he's compensating for something that he lacks by having a big sword. I don't know. Burnett's art teases a very dark series is around the corner, illustrated by the black and violet forest background. Both the background and foreground are filled with the mysterious creatures containing gaping mouths and glowing eyes, giving off an eerie feel. A barely visible blue moon in the sky illuminates a young person with a scowl on her face, holding a huge sword. The character is highlighted by a blue and violet hues while being covered by a pink mist. So maybe this is the daughter. I'm going to guess that the daughter in the God Country series picks up the sword and continues what her grandfather started. That's going to be my guess. Just a guess. Pretty sure that's what will happen, though. So it's that there is a granddaughter of the old man. I can't remember his name. The main character in God Country had a granddaughter. That's probably her, a little older, and she obviously takes the sword and will be on a new journey, new destiny, maybe. So yeah, it's going to be a follow-up series to God Country. So good for him. You know, Cates wants to make a little extra money and actually own the property. I think that's smart. Nothing wrong with that. You're certainly going to make more money with creator-owned work versus working for Marvel, where you're just you're a highly in this case, Cates is a highly paid creator, but of course he doesn't own any of the creations, right? Marvel's going to own them all. So eventually this is what happens. You know, everyone gets their start in the business at Marvel or DC. They work there for a few years, maybe 10 years at the longest. They build up a career, especially if they're any good. They build up a following and a career, and then the smart thing for them to do would be to leave, go to Image, go to Kickstarter, go to Indiegogo, do their own comic book, create their own comic book, and retain 80-90% of the earnings, and have royalties and all that other good stuff that comes with it. Yeah, that's if you want to become a multi-millionaire in the comic book industry, there's only one of two things you can do. You can work for a long period of time with one of the big companies like Marvel or DC, and eventually you make money because you become famous if you're really good, and you do signings and you'll do shows and all that good stuff, and you make a lot of extra money doing that. or you make it a lot faster by being a creator and going off and doing an independent book through the various different, publishing methods. You can go to Image. Image gets a slice, a fee, a slice of the pie, but the majority goes to the creator and the people that worked on the comic book. And then Image, of course, promotes it. Or you could go with an Indiegogo or a Kickstarter and control the process through the direct market. That's or you can form your own publishing company as well. I mean, there's guys that have done that, but I think most prefer to do Image because Image kind of handles a lot of the backroom stuff, a lot of the administrative stuff that the writer and artist don't want to deal with. So it makes a lot of sense for a lot of guys to go through Image to create their own series and their own characters. Yeah, thanks, Logan. It was Jeff Shaw for the intro. Yeah, he works a lot with Shaw. But it looks like on this project, he's going to be using Dylan Burnett. All right, guys, that's kind of all I had. Just reviewing the top 20 list from CovrPrice. Kind of give you guys a little preview of that, my thoughts on it, my opinions on it, and also what's going on in the comic book news. So the really big news this week is Venom 2 release date is being pushed back all the way to June 25th of next year, so more than a year away. Not good news in the short term for Marvel. Obviously, I mean, think about it. Last year, 2019, Marvel had, or Disney rather, not Marvel, Disney had 7 movies that did over $1 billion a piece. 7 movies that did $1 billion each or more. This year, I don't even think they'll have one that will do $1 billion. So everything is being pushed back all the way to 2021. And even with that lineup next year, there's no way they're going to have 7 movies next year that do $1 billion. I'm going to guess that they'll have maybe 3 at most. 3 movies that do $1 billion each. So not good news for Disney, not good news for Marvel. I don't think they're going to make near as much money. I mean, just think about this past year, the movies that came out, they were huge. They were huge movies. You're not going to see that for a long time, I don't think. So you got Venom 2, you've got Black Widow, Mulan. You've got certain movies that are coming out that I think they'll do well. And maybe those are the 3 movies that do $1 billion each. I mean, I think Black Widow could do $1 billion. I think Venom 2 could easily do $1 billion. But they're not releasing any of those really probably till next year. I mean, Black Widow, maybe the end of this year. I've heard November, maybe a November release. But a lot of it's going to be predicated on, whether the movie theaters are going to be opened. I mean, there's still a lot of variables there that are not known. So that's kind of the big news this week that I wanted to highlight. Hope everybody is having a good week so far. I know it's still early. It's only Tuesday. Logan asked, what story do you think Kate sold? I think it's a follow-up story from God Country. So my feeling is it's the grandfather in the original God Country story had a daughter. I think it's the daughter. I think the daughter picks up the sword for some reason, and this story will be about her. Because remember, the grandfather died. Spoiler. If you haven't read it, oh well. MVS says, what Boom title would you like to see on Netflix? Yeah, I think Bone Parish could be done well. I'd like to maybe see that one. Also, Once in Future. I think that one could be really, really cool. I don't know whether they do a live action with it, though, with Once in Future, or should they do maybe some kind of cool animation. I'm almost leaning towards animation on Once in Future. I don't know. I just think it might be a little better. I think the live action can be difficult to do. There's a lot of costs involved in the special effects for live action. So, Yeah, I think those are the two: Bone Parish and Once in Future. I think Something is Killing the Children. It's just a little too adult. I just don't see. I don't see that being developed, to be honest. So if you're specking on Something is Killing the Children, I wouldn't spec hard on that one. I just don't see. It's just a little, the killing of children does not sell well in society. It just doesn't. So yeah, Logan. I mean, the comic book is great, no doubt about it. But I just don't. I don't see it happening. But I could be wrong. I don't know. I just don't. I don't see them developing that one. I see Once in Future being developed, and I see Bone Parish for sure. I don't know. I'm trying to think of another title that could be developed from Boom Studios. Those are the only two that are coming fresh into my mind that would be developed. All right. Appreciate everybody that's tuned in, was watching the stream. Probably have another stream on yeah, Logan's right, Unsound. I forgot about that one. I think that one is scheduled to be developed as well. Yeah, I'll have another stream out probably on Thursday. So my cigar comics, whiskey, cigar, and comics. So as you notice, I'm not drinking whiskey right now. I'm just drinking water. I'm trying to cut back my whiskey intake to maybe like once or twice a week. So I'll do that on Thursday, a whiskey and cigar. But in the meantime, I'm gonna just try to drink more water. I'd like to lose a little bit of weight. Too much whiskey turns to sugar, and I'd like to lose about 10 pounds. Maybe I'd feel a little bit better. My jeans would fit a little bit better. That's the only reason to do it. So my clothes can fit a little bit better. I don't really care if I look fantastic or not. I'm an old man now, so those days of trying to make myself look svelte are over. All right, guys, I appreciate you tuning in. Look for my next video on Thursday evening. I'll send out a notification on that. If you haven't already, please make sure you're still subscribed. I know YouTube sometimes is unsubscribing people. I was at like 720 subscribers a month ago. I'm like 710, 711 now. So I don't know. I'm losing subscribers. Maybe because I'm too opinionated. Maybe I'm just losing them because people are like, yeah, this guy, forget it. Unsubscribe. But make sure you're still subscribed. Make sure you hit the bell for notifications. So when I send out a notification, it pops up and lets you know. And if you can, if you want to share my videos to help me grow my channel, I'd appreciate it. If it grows, great. If it doesn't, no big deal. I still have a pretty loyal following of people that I interact with on a regular basis. So I appreciate everybody that supports my channel. And you guys have a great rest of the week. I'll see you on Thursday.